Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Geo here. I got Rexy with me, and we're gonna do the top 12 threats in Pokemon ORAS OU.
Hey guys, it's Rexy, and yeah, we'll just jump right into it and talk about these 12 threats that you want to prepare for. Because if your team's not prepared for these monsters, your team just can get blown apart by these
Yeah, and it's
threats.
definitely not like the best Pokemon necessarily. Like, I don't think Medicham's number one in the game, but it's definitely the number one like team shredder.
Yeah, and the list that we prepare for aren't necessarily all offensive threats either. We got Pokemon like Clefable in there because if you're not prepared for a Clefable, your team will actually get 6-0 by it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just start with Medicham and talk about why this thing is the. Oh, or actually, do you want to start worst to best or best to worst?
Let's do best to worst.
Okay.
I mean the other way around, worst to best.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we'll start with our number 12 spot then. It's Azumarill.
Yeah.
So
So you
yeah, do you
start.
want to start
Or,
off?
yeah, whatever. I'll start. Um, I use Azumarill a lot. It's like a great offensive mon. The three biggest, or the two biggest sets to watch out for, are, like the Bandit set and the Belly Drum set. Like what Azu does is he kind of just hits you really hard if it resists your hits because it's pretty bulky with its HP stat, and it's a little hard to switch into if you don't have the appropriate typings. It's a lot of playing around between like steel and grass types for the most part because of its double stab. It's great.
Yeah, and especially when you don't know the set, it's a huge threat
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't know the set and you switch out to a counter and it goes for a belly drum, that's not a counter anymore. Yeah,
Times four attack plus the huge power. It hits like ridiculous attack sets.
yeah, definitely. Like if you think your Ferrothorn's gonna be walling this thing and you go to your Ferrothorn on the predicted fairy attack and it goes for a belly drum, that knockoff is just gonna straight up kill your Ferrothorn.
Yeah, especially if it's Jolly Us.
Yeah. So, and the bandit set is just as strong. It hits really hard without any boosts. So if you don't have a resist, you know, something's gonna be dying.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of times it becomes a mix-up. Like, do I sack this to prevent it from setting up, or like stuff like that?
Yeah, especially say you have one of your Lotties in on this thing. You have to decide if you want to just sack it to the play rough, or get damage off so that your once after your belly jumps, your priority can revenge kill it.
Yeah,
And if you
because
predict wrong, this is gonna kill half your team.
yeah, it's super notable that it has like stab Aqua Jet. So like you see its speed stat, and it's like not very good,
Hmm.
but a plus four Aqua Jet kills a lot of things.
Yeah, and yeah, this thing is just a monster, and it has great defensive typings. It can come in on just like fighting, very common fighting water. Um,
Yeah, it's like a Keldeo switch in if you want to risk getting burned, and then you can get a kill.
yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Um, we're gonna talk about Mega Slowbro. So this thing is a huge threat for teams that aren't prepared for this thing. Um, and they come in two sets. One is the Rest Talk set, and the other is just the Slack Off. So
Hmm.
the and especially if you don't know the set yet, it's even a bigger threat because you have to deal with them differently depending on what set it is. The Slack Off set, you can wear it down with Toxic, and generally that will like kill it before it gets too big. But for the Rest Talk set, it's gonna go to sleep and remove the Toxic. So then, when you think you have it checked, it's now back again with full health.
With plus three special defense.
Yeah, and this thing has great defense, and after Calm Mind, obviously, it's gonna be tanky on both sides of the spectrum, and it'll kill teams if you're not ready for this.
Yeah, it definitely will. Because like after plus one, it's not getting OHKO'd by any of the common electric types.
And generally, like bulky Pokemon, you have to deal with it with Toxic, and having Rest Talk, it's just
Yeah,
it
it's great.
becomes not one of your ways to kill it.
Hmm.
Yeah, also the ability is something also to note. Sometimes when like bulky Pokemon are setting up, like you have to try to luck out and kill it with a crit. But here with Shell Armor, you can't crit it, so now it's if you can't kill it, you basically can't kill it.
Yeah. Unless you're Hexers.
Yeah, if you're Hexers and you can, you have Mold Breaker, you can crit it. But otherwise, if you can't, like 2 KO this thing, you pretty much get 6-0 by this once it starts setting up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, have anything else to add to this?
Just like the rest talk set, it's gonna be Mono Scald. So if you have a good water resist or like water absorb Pokemon, that's like when you recognize a sleep talk, you can always switch that in and like kill it, or just not take damage anymore.
Yeah, but one thing to note is if like your opponent really wants to PP stall you, they can, because
Yeah.
yeah, because like rest has 16 PP, and then 3 times, because you're sleeping for 2 turns.
Hmm.
So it's like if they really want to PP stall you, rest is kind of like a 16 times 3 amount of PP.
But like if you have like Calm Mind Lottie, you can resist Scald and set up alongside it. And if you have Jinx, you can Nasty Plot in its face.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you also have a Calm Mind user, you can Calm Mind alongside it, and then since the Rest Hawk set doesn't have Psy Shock, and if you have Psy Shock and you have Calm Mind, you can actually beat this thing by Calm Mind alongside it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to first know what
Yeah,
set
you have to
it is.
identify it first.
Yeah, because if it's the Calm Mind Slack Off with Psy Shock, then Calm Minding alongside it's not gonna help you beat it.
Yeah.
So yeah, first you have to identify what set it is, and then use the appropriate counter. Alright, next up we have Volcanian.
Yeah, the newest addition to Pokemon.
Yep. This thing is a major threat. It's base 130 special attack, which is like most strong special attacker. It's gonna be hitting really hard. But on top of that, as opposed to say like a Gengar, where its strongest stab is like a Sludge Wave, which is base 95 power. This thing has base 110 attacks, so this is going to be much stronger than a Gengar.
Yeah, and Steam Eruption, its unique move, it has a 30% chance to burn. And you always get burned by Scald, and this is pretty much the same thing, but more powerful.
Yeah, downside is it does have a 5% chance to miss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
it's definitely worth using for the power.
yeah, it's essentially a better Hydro Pump in every sense.
Well, besides, yeah, in every sense.
Yeah, there's no downside over Hydro Pump, and a lot of Pokemon still use Hydro Pump as its stab,
Yeah.
like Rotom, or you see it on Keldeo sometimes as well.
Yeah, the biggest problem with this Pokemon, like what it has going against it, is that it doesn't have much PP on its strong moves. Because Steam Eruption only has 8 PP, and you can get like PP stalled by like Suicune or like Chansey and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And the other downside is its speed. Its speed
Yes.
it's actually quite slow, but if you get this in on something slower than you, and you can threaten it out with your stab move, you can basically pick up a kill if they don't have a switch in.
Yeah, because normally people run specs on Volcanion, and base 70 max speed modest isn't terrible. It's 239, which outspeeds things like Bulky Lando, Rotom, and things like that. And then like spec Steam Eruption does like 40 to 50 to like defensive Rotoms.
Yeah, and if you, especially even if you resist this thing, it's gonna be chunking your
Yeah.
Pokemon.
A theme you'll see with a lot of the top threats in OU is that resist it does not equal a counter.
Yeah. Like if you switch a Lottie into one of this specs Steam Eruption, you're gonna get 2-hit KO'd. So
Yeah,
you can switch it into it one time, and then the next time it's gonna be dead.
especially if it burns you.
Yeah. So this is definitely a huge threat you want to be preparing your team for. So yeah,
Yeah,
do you want to
it's
talk about some of the counters that can repeatedly switch into this thing?
well, Chansey's the best one because no one's insane enough to run Superpower Volcania.
I mean, they can run Focus Blast.
Focus Blast isn't doing shit.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess Chansey is definitely a counter that can repeatedly switch into this thing.
Yeah, because even if it gets burned as natural cure when it switches out, um, like bulky, not bulky Latios, but just like Latios with the little bit of HP investment, like the standard set. It can recover stuff off. It has to worry about burn for sure, but it's definitely a pretty solid check.
There's also like the bulky Starmie, you know.
Oh yeah, Starmie is a
Yeah.
good check.
It's not necessarily a good check, but you can PP stall out its attacks and come out ahead. But you know, you have to risk crits and burns. So as soon as you know they
Yeah.
get a burn or a crit, then you're kind of, you know, playing with rolls.
Yeah. A good counter to this mon is also Stealth Rex. Because it takes 25% every time it switches in, and it gets forced out by a lot of Pokemon because of how slow it is. So
Yeah.
if you can like keep the pressure up, it's like it really falls against offensive teams. Like Starmie can run like Thunderbolt and scare this thing out. So Starmie switches into this comfortably and like can scare it out, and then has to take another 25% to Rex.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely to beat this, you wanna just have faster Pokemon and getting up rocks to limit its switches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is Mega Charizard X.
So, sorry. This thing is, I think personally the most stressful thing about playing as a Charizard is you don't know which one it is like immediately.
Yeah. Having like if you conceal which Charizard you are, you can actually like make your opponent misplay, and it'll just like plow through teams.
Yeah, because like Landorus T is a good check to Zard X, but it's like definitely not a check to Zard
Yeah, Zarwai Fire Blast basically kills Landorus.
Yeah, like it clean out those defensive land.
And if they don't know which set and they misplay, and you know, if you capitalize on it, you can pick up a kill or two. And you know, in Pokemon, you know, sure you're not like 6-0ing their team, but after their team is down 2 members, it's so much easier to just kill the rest of their team.
Yeah, because normally a team like relies off of synergy and stuff, and if you lose certain checks to certain Pokemon, you might just be weak to like whatever else your team has.
So it may not like necessarily be, you know, 6-0ing your team, but if it kills key members, your other Pokemon can 6-0 afterwards.
This thing's also what makes this thing scary by itself too. Like aside from forcing misplays, is that it's like every single one of its stats is like pretty good. The speed is like a little lackluster at base 100, but you're faster than base 70s, which is like the speed tier below that, and you have Dragon Dance. So after +1 base 100 speed is definitely not bad, and you can easily set up on a lot of things with its great defensive stats. And then dual stab, like +1 Dragon Claw does like a lot of damage, and you Flare Blitz, like Fire Dragon typing, they complement each other really well because it beats Steel types.
Yeah, and if you there's also the option of just going Dragon Dance and 3 attack, and you know lets you hit like Heatran that resists both of your stabs with.
Is that like
Earthquake.
perfect coverage?
I'm not sure, but it kills a lot of you know, defensive Pokemon.
Yeah, I guess yeah, because yeah, I think it's perfect coverage.
Yeah, I mean, what are some checks and counters to this thing?
Well, to Zard X, like I mentioned before, Landorus T is definitely a good. I wouldn't say counter, but you can definitely switch on it with Intimidate if you're defensive like several times. And
No, I don't think several times.
well, yeah, several's a big number, like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we're like 2 times.
Yeah, and if it sets up, you can just throw Lando T in with a free switch and like force it off.
Hmm.
Um, like Earthquake Oko's non-bulky Charizard X.
Yeah, and also like recoil stalling. You
Yeah,
know,
recoil
if you're
stalls.
yeah, because it's gonna click Flare Blitz, and you can let like your say you send in the Pokemon just at full health just to let it die, so you can take recoil and put it in range for your other Pokemon to revenge kill it.
Yeah,
So, but you know that's not really like a reliable strategy to
yeah,
just like
definitely not.
recoil stall it.
Hippowdon is great against this Pokemon too, because Hippo is super bulky, and Sandstorm wears it down on top of like not getting hit super effective by any of its coverage moves.
Hmm.
And you can like Earthquake or Whirlwind it out or whatever they think is best.
Yeah, definitely.
And statuses are really good against setup sweepers in general, because if you can wear them down over time, they're forced to like they're going to be under pressure and have to like switch excuse me, make predictions so they don't just get stalled out and die to toxic.
Yeah, yeah. If you can manage to get toxic on this thing, or even a paralyze, because paralyze makes it easier for your revenge killers to come in and force it out afterwards.
Yeah, it pretty much nullifies like any speed boost it gets.
And especially toxic, because the the Charizard player can't just hit what's in front of them,
hmm
because you know they're limited. They're on a timer with
Yeah.
the toxic.
But Charizard X is great because it can't get burned, so it makes it a good check to like Mega Sableye, as long as it's not foul play.
Definitely, because being fire type, which is immune to getting burned, and being a physical attacker, you're reliant on your physical attacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on to Chansey here. So Chansey is not necessarily an offensive threat, but it's a threat nonetheless, because if you're not prepared for this thing, it will literally 6-0 your team.
It's like the bulkiest mon in the game, straight up, right?
Yeah, one of the bulkiest mons. Even with base 5 defense, it's still tanking very strong physical attacks.
When we were playing the other day, we had a +2 Cloyster, and Ice Cold Spear did a total of 56 at +2.
Yeah,
That's like stab skill link, that's a lot of damage.
yeah, that's like a 4-hit KO with Cloyster non-boosted.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
Um,
so
Most people run this with the Violate in the max defense bold with max special defense. That's how they like maximize the stats.
yeah, you don't need more HP stats because your HP is already really high. So you definitely get more bulkier by investing in both defense and special defense.
hmm
Yeah, and if your team has like weak physical attackers and mostly special attackers, this thing will wall your whole team and just like click S-toss and kill your whole team.
Yeah, because like people run like superpower on Torn T to like hit steel types, right? But then it does like 40 to chance.
Yeah, it doesn't even,
Doesn't
Chansey just soft boils up all the damage.
Yeah, so you definitely need like a dedicated physical attacker to deal with stuff like Chansey.
I mean, things that can set up on Chansey is also a viable
Yeah,
counter.
that's true. But you gotta be careful because most Chanseys run Toxic or T-Wave. So if you identify the type of Chansey, like maybe you can set up on it with either like Lando or Scizor respectively.
Yeah,
And
yeah. If it's not like toxic, you can have like say a Landorus come in and start Source Dancing on it. But if it's toxic, then it toxics
Yeah.
your Landorus. You try to set up, they just swap out to a Landorus counter, and now your Landorus is not going to be doing anything.
Yeah. And setting up with special attackers doesn't exactly work because like +6 Thunderbolt from Thunderous is probably doing like 60%.
Yeah, like for example, Manaphy with 2 Tail Glows, you're kind of like barely 2-hit KOing Chansey. So you have to have it like a very dedicated Manaphy set with Rest and Rain Dance to beat this Chansey. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you also gotta be like statusing is normally how you deal with wolves, as we said before. But in this case, we have not we have, but Chansey has natural cure. So if it ever gets too low from Toxic or something, it can switch out, and Toxic just goes away without it wasting a turn.
Yeah, and also if it also has like Heal Bell, so
there's a lot of heal bell variants running around with stall.
Yeah, and if they want to just stay in to stall you out, they can always have Heal Bell. Yeah, so let's move on to the next one. And the next one is Keldeo. So this may like come as a surprise because Keldeo is rocking really good stats, but like, this is not a Mega, and you would, expect a Mega to be in our top 12. I mean, you would expect like really, really powerful Pokemon, and like Keldeo doesn't look like one of them, but it actually is one of them. So the common sets are usually like choice specs on this thing, and with just fighting and water, it has great coverage on everything.
Yeah, this thing is also one of my favorite Pokemon to run. It's great on offense. It does the specs variant does a very similar job to Azu, where you kind of just like press Scald and or Secret Sword depending on the situation, and just do lots of damage.
Yeah, if you don't have a switch into Skull, it's gonna be like, it's gonna chunk your Pokemon, and if it gets a burn, it's not gonna be it's not gonna be coming back in to take another Skull.
Yeah, what was the other set you mentioned besides specs?
No, I just mentioned the specs set.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think specs is definitely the scariest one. Life Orb is okay because you can switch up moves, but it really likes the power. So if you can like predict it right, and it's choice specs, that's a good way of dealing with Keldeo. But the best check to Keldeo is definitely the Lottie twins.
Yeah, Lotties, they can take both the stabs from Keldeo, but you also have to watch out for like Icy Wind.
Yeah, but it's still like, what was that, like 240?
I'm not sure, but Icy Wind lowers your speed, so
yeah, that's true too.
It if it can 2-hit KO, it's kind of risky to just minusly throw your Lottie in.
Yeah, but then like if it locks itself into Icy Wind, you can switch to something else.
Yeah, definitely the way to play around this is that if it's choice locked, you can switch around after scouting a move. But at the same time, like the Keldeo player can also switch around.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it's just like immediate power as soon as it gets in. It doesn't require you to, set up with any moves. You just get in there. If the Pokemon is in there with you that's weak to you, you either kill it or they switch to something. If it's not a counter, it gets 2-hit KO'd. So it's definitely a huge threat you want to be prepared for.
Yeah, and I think the scariest part about this one is definitely the burn chance. Because let's say you have Mega Scizor with like some speed F investment, you can like you take like 40 from Scald, so you think you can set up on it, but then it burns you, and then your Scizor is just ruined. Like, it changes things that could be checks or counters into like not checks or counters.
yeah. Things that can like live its skulls and potentially recover up, but doesn't appreciate burns, it becomes not a counter.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if you have a Dragonite which can resist both Skull plus the Secret Sword, and you have Roost, you think it counters this, but if you catch a burn on your Dragonite, your Dragonite's ruined basically.
Yeah, that also goes for like not physical attackers, like let's say a Mungus. If they don't have a heal bell user, like a proper stall team would, I guess, Amoonguss gets whittled every time it comes in after burn, and it makes it a lot less effective at what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, like things like Mega Venusaur, you would think with recovery and resisting both stabs, you think it'd be a great counter, but as soon as it catches a burn, it's gonna be definitely less effective against other, things that it normally counters.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's move on to our top 6 now. And these are threats. And this is like
This is like what defines the OU meta, dude.
yeah, this is like a step up from our top 12.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Keldeo plays a big role in the meta, especially that bulky offense is so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, these mons are definitely something else.
Yeah, these mons are just like, if you want to build a good team, throw like one of these mons in your team.
Or 3 of them.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't even matter if you have just like 3 mega Pokemon on your team.
I was thinking like Cleft Talonflame, Medicham.
Yeah, but you could have like 4 megas on your team. One of them is gonna carry you. But yeah, so let's start with our number 6 spot, which is Talonflame.
Talonflame, oh my god. When XY came out, and I was like still pretty new to Pokemon, this thing was like nightmare fuel. It can do so much. Like, there's a Spadef version, there's just well, there used to be Bandit, not so much anymore. There's Max Attack. It sets up on so much because of like Will-O-Wisp.
Don't forget the Lure version with the natural gift.
I don't think many people run that though.
I mean, that was like pretty popular when XY just came out.
Yeah, like this thing just sets up, and then because of its ability, Gale Wings, it gets a 120 base power priority move.
Yeah, and like people, I remember when XY just came out, people didn't think Talonflame would be like that good because it has like poor offensive stats.
Its stats in general are pretty garbage.
Yeah, but the thing is, a Brave Bird from this thing it's stronger than a Choice Bandit Azumarill Aqua Jet in terms of power. And you know how strong a Choice Bandit Azumarill Aqua Jet is, but this thing has even stronger priority and even faster. You can like invest speed to outspeed certain threats that also has priority, and then you just out prioritize it and just hit them with the base 120 priority Brave Bird.
And it's like this Pokemon gets Taunt, it gets Will-O-Wisp, Roost. It definitely makes a lot of things in an OU like it's setup fodder. So
yeah, you have to. Not only do you have to scout for its set, that's kind of hard to scout because if your opponent just gets a SD up and you don't have a good counter to this, your whole team's getting killed by this.
Yeah, because like its attack stat's not so hot, but at +4 it's definitely killing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and there's times where you could get to +6, especially say it has taunt and your Pokemon has no way to touch it without status, and it taunts you, and then it just proceeds to get to +6.
Yeah, like because you might think Heatran's a counter resisting both its stabs, but if you taunt the Heatran and it's not like ancient power, what's it gonna do?
Yeah, like if your only way of, if your Heatran's only way of dealing with Talonflame is to Toxic it, and Talonflame has taunt, then this sets up on your Heatran and gets to +6, and Heatran just falls over.
I definitely found, like way back in the day, the easiest way of dealing with Talonflame is Tank Chomp.
Yeah, but even Tank Chomp is not as effective if they have like a Will-O-Wisp. They just burn you, and your best way to deal with it is like try to Toxic or Dragon Tail it out.
Yeah, I say Tank Chomp because like you might lose your Tank Chomp for this, right? But if they hit you, they're taking more than 50% in some cases. Like for recoil damage, and you can always Dragon Tail it out if they try to Roost or set up more or something.
But it's not necessarily a counter because the Talonflame player can just burn it and just come back later.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely like, oh, I screwed up. I really need this to get this away. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's like a one-time deal to stop this Talonflame from killing your whole team.
yeah,
So it's not like you could repeatedly switch it in and force it out.
yeah. Because like, I don't know, probably like +3 Brave Bird to a KOs or something.
Yeah, this thing, it's not rocking the best attack stats, but it can set up, especially the other version, which is bulk up.
Oh,
Yeah, it bulk ups, and then like Stone Edge is not doing anything after a couple of bulk up boosts.
yeah. You switch your Lando into it, and exactly.
Yeah,
At +1 defense, I don't think defensive Landos don't edge Okos. Especially if they bulk up and then they burn you before you can hit them.
yeah, especially burns because this thing loves to burn stuff, and if you get burned by this thing, like they like even if you're a check to this thing, if you eat a burn, it's so much easier for the town player to just switch it out and come back later once your counter and checks are low.
But if it doesn't have taunt, it's like not too like you can toxic with like Hippo per se, but it's just like really scary because depending on the set, different things counter it.
Yeah, yeah. Depending on the set, so first you have to scout for it, and if you mess that, because your opponent can take advantage of you if you're trying to scout for it. They go for SD, and now something dies.
Yeah. One thing that does like hard counter Talonflame is Mega Ampharos, surprisingly, because it resists both its stabs. It like can't set up its special defense, and Mega Ampharos doesn't care about burns in the sense that it weakens it. Like,
Yeah, and if you're running like the Rest Hawk Ampharos set, it's like you can repeatedly bring it in on this.
I guess like Unaware Quagsire, and because if it's taunt, then you still lose to this.
Yeah, you have to like, because if it's like the Spadef taunt set, then your Quag still loses to it.
It's also really important to like have rocks up against the Talonflame. Sure, they're gonna try to defog or spin away, but I think a big part of playing against Talonflame is properly like managing your hazards.
Yeah, because if they're forced to spend one whole turn defogging, you can take advantage of that and maybe kill their defogger or their spinner, and
Yeah, and they get rocks up again later.
yeah, but it's definitely very important to like have your team be prepared for this thing, at least
Yeah, yeah. Scarf Tower, Scarf Tower is also a decent check if you can get it on a free switch after it kills something, or if you know it's like if it's not bulk up. If it's like at +2 and it kills something, Scarf Tower can just Stone Edge it or Pursuit if you predict that.
Yeah, but yeah,
It's like it's definitely a revenge killer in this situation.
And the thing is, Talonflame is also really great against like fast and frail Pokemon because unboosted Brave Bird just straight up kills them. So if your team's like a very offensive team without Brave Bird checks, this thing is just gonna kill you with priority Brave Bird.
Yeah, it kind of sucks in certain situations though, because I don't like unboosted Brave Bird doesn't Oko Keldeo with max attack, if I'm right. It doesn't Oko Superior and stuff like that, so you just gotta be like a little careful, like have their Keldeo switch into rocks twice and then you can kill it, stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, so enough of Talonflame, and let's move on to our next.
So good.
Our next threat. So this is top 5, and this is actually not an offensive threat. It's actually Clefable.
Yeah.
This thing, it's if your team is not prepared for this thing will 6-0 your team. What it does is, if you can't 2-hit KO this thing, or even
Like
Oko this thing, yeah, if you can't outright Oko this thing, it's gonna paralyze you, and then
then you lose.
yeah, and then you lose because it will just keep healing up until you get paralyzed, and then fight back with Moonblast.
Yeah.
So it can, if you can't outright kill this thing, it will basically kill you and be calm mind up and full health.
Yeah, the scariest set is definitely the Magic Guard one, because it doesn't take damage from statuses, so it makes it be like a lot harder to whittle down and stuff like that. And you really, it makes you rely on a Pokemon clean Okoing it.
Yeah, you need like, especially not even like special attackers are reliable because if it
Yeah,
gets
that's
one
common.
or one or two common boosts and your special, like say your Gengar Sludge Wave, after one or two boosts, it's not gonna be a clean Okoing this thing.
Yeah,
And if you catch a Thunder Wave, then this thing is gonna be basically +6 and full health. Still kills your Gengar.
yeah, you definitely have to stop Clefable before it sets up. That's the best way of dealing with it.
Yeah, you need like very strong steel attacks that can just outright kill it in one shot and not have to worry about
Yeah.
Thunder Wave.
Gengar is it keeps it out because Life Orb Sludge Wave I think is an Oko or a roll to Oko, and if it's like sub Gengar or something, or like if you have a Pokemon behind a sub, you can avoid Thunder Wave.
Yeah,
So it's like you have to prepare for it in game as well as like in your team builder.
I mean, you can't just like mindlessly switch in your Gengar because if you catch a
Yeah.
T-Wave, then your Gengar actually gets beat.
Definitely hard to switch into this thing.
Yeah.
Landorus isn't terrible because you don't get T-Waved, and if you're like SD Landorus, you can set up on it. But yeah.
But if you like you can't bring it in once it starts setting up. You know,
Yeah, because like +2 Moonblast will 2-hit KO you, and you can't Oko it with Lando.
Yeah, and so like you need to act fast and have the appropriate answers. Otherwise, it's just gonna set up and T-Wave you, be at full health, and still kill your Pokemon.
Experience definitely helps with this one in particular.
Yeah, and also the fact that it barely dodges like a lot of 2-hit KOs on this thing.
Yeah, its defenses are crazy.
Yeah, so it's not only like a check to other Pokemon, it's also a huge threat in itself.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
I don't know. The Unaware set isn't nearly as good because like you can Toxic it and it can't set up the same way.
Yeah. There's also the Stealth Rock set, which you give up either Combine or your Thunder Wave.
Yeah, it's definitely not as much of a threat with that either. But it's like it can fit on teams' places.
Yeah, you can throw this on any team basically, and it's not gonna be dead weight.
Yeah, yeah, pretty fun.
Yeah, it's you can throw it on any team, it's gonna be pulling its weight. Yeah. Counters to this thing.
Counters.
Yeah, like strong steel type, Metagross.
Metagross is good.
Yeah.
You still have to watch out for the rare fire move Clefable. But they usually run T-Wave, so if you can see T-Wave early on, then you can do it safely. Scizor is a good check too, because Scizor doesn't care about being paralyzed as much because it has priority, and you can SD on it.
But you also have to watch out for like +1 flamethrower.
Yeah, fire move will still beat Scizor too.
Yeah. There's like any Calm Mind with Psyshock can beat it in theory. If you don't get like paralyzed too much.
Like Reuniclus is actually kind of great for this because it doesn't mind other statuses either, like besides paralyzation, because of Magic Guard itself, and it runs Psyshock to hit Clef on the defensive side.
Same with like Slowbro, where you can Calm Mind up, just like a regular Slowbro, Calm Mind up and Psyshock. You can beat this thing, but but like with Thunder Wave around, it's always it's not your 100% counter.
So does that mean Claydol is a counter?
Claydol. Yeah, you have to dig pretty deep into the Garble land to find a good counter.
Does it even get Calm Mind Psyshock? I'm not even sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's... Oh, also Ursaring, I think.
Ursaring.
Toxic boosted adamant facade like Oko's Clefable. So yeah.
Alright. You wanna anything else you wanna say about Clef?
Uh, if you're having trouble laddering up, just run Cliff and like Cliff Key and just click T Wave a lot
Yeah. You'll win games that you don't deserve.
for sure.
Alright, let's go to top 4. And this is Diancie.
Alright, this thing is I actually got super excited when this was came out because it looks awesome, and its attack stats are like crazy.
Yeah, it has like no physical attack moves besides like Diamond Storm.
Yeah, but Stab Diamond Storm still does a lot.
Yeah. This thing's stats are freaking crazy.
Yeah, it has things like Calm Mind and Rock Polish, but you definitely don't need those. It's best to run 3 attacks Protect, because Protect. Yeah, if you're playing against Mega Dancy, always expect them to have Protect, because they want to get the Mega off safely.
Yeah.
And it lets them get Magic Bounce turn 1 if they lead with it. And having a Magic Bounce user in the back, lets you play a lot of mind games, like, do I Stealth Rock here, or do I, like, Earthquake?
Yeah, and the Protect also helps against Scarf users. You know, if they have a Scarf Lando, Scarf Caldeo that tries to, like, revenge kill you, you can scout for what move they locked into and then find your appropriate answer.
Yeah, it definitely makes playing with the Scarf a lot harder.
Yeah, so if your answer to this Diancie is your Scarf Caldeo or Scarf Landers,
Be prepared to make some doubles.
Yeah, they just click Protect, and now the next move is a 50-50. Which is, so it's not even a good, like, check,
The best way of dealing with this mon is like hoping your opponent overpredicts and switches into like your Earthquake or something.
Yeah, that's your answer basically.
The alternative is like having a Pokemon that's bulky enough to take a hit and then kill it back.
Yeah, there's not many Pokemon that can switch into Moonblast.
Yeah, don't even think about switching it. Just like sack something and not move it.
I mean, you got like Spadef Skarmory.
Yeah.
That can, take both of its stabs. But you do have to watch out for like HP Fire.
Yeah, that goes for Ferrothorn too. If it doesn't have HP Fire, Ferrothorn's pretty safe, and you can Revenge Kill with Gyrable. But, not Revenge Kill, but just kill it with Gyrable, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and if it does have HP Fire, then Heatran is pretty safe.
Yeah, because then it's not running Earth Power. And it's rare that they run, not one of the stat moves. Because Diamond Storm lets it hit, Clefable or, Chansey a little bit.
Oh yeah, Clef is actually a decent answer to this at full health.
Yeah, because Diamond Storm only does, 35 on average, I think.
No, I think it does, 40-ish.
Oh, it's even more than that? Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, so does, Moonblast barely misses out on the 2-hit KO. So Clef can be like an answer to this Diancie. You can switch it in, obviously you have to be full health. If you're not full health, you're getting 2-hit KO.
Yeah. What else is there? Oh yeah, Bullet Punch and other forms of priority are decent with this. Obviously Diancie is actually an offensive check to Talonflame, which is really cool. Because if you have a frail offensive team, Talonflame's a bit of a problem. But Mach Punch, Aqua Jet, and Bullet Punch all hit this thing pretty hard.
Well,
especially
Mach Punch is neutral.
Yeah, but its defenses look great, but it has no HP stat, so Mach Punch does more than half, I think.
It is the defense and special defense is great, but the HP stat is kind of holding it back. In terms of being a really bulky Pokemon.
Yeah, so priority is a good way of dealing with this too.
And or just having Threat Star faster, but this thing is packing 110 base speed.
Yeah, that's Lottie speed.
Yeah, this is really pretty much it's its own tier of speed.
So that means whatchamacallit? I guess Lopunny is a really risky check because it has Protect, so you can't just high jump kick it.
Yeah.
And main outspeeds it to get chip damage. Tornadus T, that outspeed. So everything that outspeeds it has flaws, clear flaws against it. So it's really good, even if it's not the fastest thing.
You have to run like Iron Tail near Tornadus to beat this. And then you have to risk the 70% accuracy.
Just run Mega Arrow with Aqua Tail. That's like the best anti-meta Pokemon in the game.
Yeah, and then you risk missing.
Yeah, but it beats T-Flame, the NC. It beats everything on this screen besides Clefable.
Yeah, and Clefable just bodies that.
Yeah, but yeah, just run Mega Arrow. It's the best Pokemon in the game.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to Mega Pinsir. This thing is just a huge threat.
It's like the best balance breaker in the game, I think.
Yeah, one of the best.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's already like packing ridiculous amount of power.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, it can SD on its own.
Yeah, it's like look at the defense stat. That's nothing to laugh at for a setup sweeping.
Yeah, because a lot of times you have to revenge kill with like priority, or because it has its own priority. So if it sets up and its own priority is enough to kill you, you need a priority user to beat it.
To like this thing, its return is aerially boosted, so it gets 1.3 times damage on top of it being stabbed now. So that's 150. I don't know. That's like 190 powered return.
Yeah. If you don't have a resist, it's gonna get 2-hit KO'd.
Yeah, you definitely need flying resist in this meta.
Yeah. Like if like your Slowbro is your generic physical defensive wall, like this thing has a 50% chance to 2-hit KO it with return. So you can't just switch your Slowbro into a return, because it has a 50% chance to just 2-hit KO it. And if they SD on the switch, then they have a chance to just straight up kill you plus 2 return.
Yeah, this thing is really scary. Raikou and Manectric are, I guess, some of the best counters to it, but they'll like don't switch it into returns. Like you just won't die to quick attack is my point.
I mean, they have to be healthy. You need to keep them healthy, or else they just die.
Yeah, and be careful of Earthquake and Close Combat, they normally run Close Combat, but they can run Earthquake too. And those are its coverage moves, and Flying Fighting or Flying Ground are both really good coverage.
Yeah, things like T-Tar that can resist the return doesn't do well against Earthquake in Close Combat.
Yeah, it definitely gets like outcoded by Close Combat.
Yeah, things like Magnezone, like things that like Steel types that can resist the flying doesn't do well to the coverage moves.
Yeah, exactly. Like you might think Garbodor is a check, but then they have Earthquake. So.
Yeah. Although one thing does Horwall this, and it's Skarmory.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skarmory can roost up.
Yeah, roost up on any of his moves safely and can like whirlwind it out or kill with Brave Bird.
Yeah, and if Pinsir gets a +2, Close Combat doesn't necessarily kill your Skarm, but like you're forced to just phase it out. So, but then like the next time it's not going to be living hits.
Yeah, this is another mon that's really weak to rocks. So, but it normally goes for like late game sweeps. Sometimes you throw it in early to break. So I don't know. Like managing hazards is really important against like this Talonflame and Zardwa.
And a lot of times people like to run Pinsir plus Talonflame. So like if your bird check is going to be so pressured that if it dies, then the other can just kill the rest of your team.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if we mentioned, but it's quick attack. Did we say that?
I think people know that.
Okay, I just want to get used to it.
Yeah, quick attack. +2 quick attack is pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's gonna be anything faster than it. If it's weakened and it dies to +2 quick attack, it's no longer a check. Yeah,
that makes like not too many mons faster than this thing have priority. It's like Weavile, I guess. And then things with E-Speed can be decent checks, like D-Knight, because E-Speed's +2 priority.
But this thing lives,
Yeah, it
E-speeds.
definitely live like neutral or like non-boosted E-speed.
Yeah, especially when it's healthy.
Hmm.
I said before about the Town Flame, you can add speed investment. So Town Flame, if you add speed investment, your Braver can out prioritize the quick attack
Hmm.
and actually be a decent check to it.
Yeah, if you want to be a really cheeky pincer, you can run Feint to prioritize the Brave Bird no matter what. But that's you sacrifice some power.
Yeah,
So that's
you actually sacrifice quite a bit of power, and you'll miss out on some random.
yeah, like Okos and stuff.
Yeah, so I definitely like recommend quick attack over feint because just base power is really valuable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about this?
Um, I think that's good.
All right, let's move on. This the next huge threat. So yeah, it was. I think our top two was like a mix-up between this and top one.
Yeah, like Medicham and Charizard Y, they both have like they're some of the hardest mons to switch into.
Wait! You're not supposed to spoil that.
Dude, you see it right there.
No, dude. I'm gonna have like a picture
Oh,
over it. So,
okay.
all right, it's okay. You spoiled it already.
They don't know it's not the normal one yet.
All right, let's talk about Zarwai. This thing is a huge threat. Not a lot of things can switch in on its sun boosted fire
Yeah,
blast.
so Mr. Fire Blast 2 it goes like way more than it should. Like
Yeah.
we mentioned how like resisting doesn't mean counter with Volcania,
Hmm.
but Charizard Y takes that to another level with like an extra 29 base special attack points and sun boosted Fire Blast.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's packing decent speed.
yeah, it has decent speed and its coverage moves are like great for what it needs to do. Like if you don't have a proper switch into this, you're gonna like lose them on every time it comes in.
Yeah, like your water type is not a counter to this. Your
Yeah.
water type eats the fire blast, then dies to the solar beam.
Yeah, like some water types like max defense Rotom probably get 2-hit KO'd by Fire Blast.
Yeah, or basically solar beam.
Yeah,
Yeah, like things like T-Tar that can change the weather and resist a fire blast. It's not gonna live a focus blast.
yeah. Hmm.
Same with like Heatran that can resist both fire blast and solar beam. It's not gonna appreciate focus blast.
With Heatran though, they have to predict you coming in, otherwise it's not an Oko. But
Hmm. If they predict your Heatran coming in,
it's a
focus
2-hit
blast
KO.
2-hit KOs.
Yeah.
Mhm. So it's not like
It's
uh,
definitely not reliable, but
mhm.
you can even like revenge kill with Heatran if they don't expect Stone Edge. If you want to use that as your Zard Y check,
Hmm.
it's Heatran can like do stuff, but and like Scarf Tar too. But definitely, it's like a really risky to switch them right in.
Yeah, because if they predict the switch, they click focus blast and then it just dies.
Hmm.
And fire blast just does so much damage. Lotties can live like one fire blast and threaten it out with a Draco or Psyshock, but
Yeah, I feel like Latias are the most reliable check to this. But
mhm.
if you're running Zard Y, you normally have a Pursuit Trapper, and the Latias don't like those.
Yeah, if you run it with the Pursuit Trapper, you just click Fire Blast. They switch in their Lottie. Now they have to be afraid of getting Pursuit Trapped.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can't just stay in a freely roost up, and like they can't just roost up and get health on the Fire Blast miss. They have to like be worried about getting Pursuit Trapped.
Hmm.
Yeah, and and if you're like worried about pursuit trapping and you double, now your Lottie's not a counter to this because it dies to the next fire blast.
Yeah. Charizard, this thing hits way too hard.
And it's the same thing with Pinsir. Hazards are really important here.
Yeah, because unlike Charizard X, when this megas, it doesn't reduce the amount of hazard damage it takes. So having rocks up definitely prevents Zard Y from coming in a lot of the time.
Yeah,
It makes its like switches not free in a sense. That like you're less able to go for doubles with Zard Y because it runs.
Yeah, you definitely need to limit the switches on this thing, because if you don't have rocks up and this thing gets free switches all the time, your team is just gonna like, even if you have soft checks, it's just gonna
Yeah, they just switch
die.
out to their counter.
Yeah.
This
So
thing also
what-
gets Roost, which you have to be careful of, because they can switch into Ferrothorns and not be afraid of getting whittled too hard, because they can just recover.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some like counters to this thing?
The only counter I can think of, like aside from Lotties, is Chansey.
Yeah, Chansey can live hits all day long, but it's
Yeah.
not like if your Chansey's like weakened from trying to take hits from a previous Pokemon and you bring it in, it has a chance to get 2-hit KO.
Yeah, Fire Blast probably does like 45-ish. Actually, I'm gonna calculate right now because I'm curious.
Yeah. Things like Dragon types are pretty good, like Altaria. Altaria can
Oh yeah, Altaria is really good. I forgot that it existed.
because it resists all 3 of its moves and can roost up on it.
Alright. So, Modest, Fire Blast, and Sun does max 33.
To Chansey. That's insane.
Yeah, I thought it would do a little more. Yeah, so pretty much Chansey's the best mod in the game.
Yeah. So now we just change the top 1 threat to Chansey.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
other
actually-
counters, like D-Knight is also a decent counter. It resists all of its
Yeah.
moves.
Dragon
Roost
types are good, but like if they're like offensive D-dancers, they're not definitely not reliable switches. Like the
Yeah.
same as Lotties.
They have to be like they have to resist all of its moves and have like reliable recovery to be a counter.
So yeah, if you're like bulky Roost Dragonite, that's a pretty solid counter.
Yeah.
And then is that it?
Yeah, I guess that's it. Let's talk about our number 1.
Oh wait, well hold on. Back to Charizard Y for like 2 seconds.
Okay, sure.
Politoed is a great counter
Oh yeah. Palito is actually a great counter.
because it can't Solar Beam you because of rain.
Yeah, and if they do click Solar Beam is reduced in the rain, and they have to charge, so you can always switch out to a Solar Beam counter.
Yeah. And then their Fire Blasts are weakened too, and you can switch around. So it brings back the good old Gen 5 Weather War days.
Yeah, but not a lot of people run Palito outside of hyper offense rain teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like
Yeah, it's not like you're not gonna have it on your team if you just
Yeah.
need a Zard Y answer.
yeah, you're not gonna throw a Palito on your random offense team.
But if you have a Zard Y on your team, just make sure you play around like a rain team, like the right way.
Yeah. Alright, let's go to our top threat to watch out for in OU. And
Medicham.
that is Medicham.
Like, Ivan, I want you to do something for me.
What is it?
See the attack stat? You see that white box next to it?
Yeah.
I need you to put that at 252,
Yeah.
and then change the nature to add. So that's 328 attack. That's like garbage, right? And then
Yeah.
the ability though. So that means just from existing, this thing has 656 attack stat.
Yeah.
That's like
non boosted.
Yeah, that's higher than most banded Pokemon.
Yeah. Like this thing just comes in, clicks high jump kick. If you're not a ghost type or like a psychic type, a really bulky psychic type, you're dying.
Yeah, like this thing has Fake Out and Bullet Punch, which are so double priority with that attack stat is nothing to laugh at, even if they're both 40 base power moves. And Fake Out lets it get a free Mega like every time.
Yeah, like even Clefable isn't a counter.
Doesn't
like,
it get 2 KO'd by a high jump kick?
Yeah, it gets to get KO'd by high jump kick, so you need a free switch to Clefable to threaten out with Moonblast or Thunder Wave. Like, you can't just bring your Clefable in to eat high jump kicks.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Medicham is you can run like different sets. You can run like double stab, what's it called? Ice punch fake out. You can like forego fake out if you really want to for bolt beam punches and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, normally, like, Slowbro is a pretty good check to this thing because it resists both stabs. But then if you're running Thunder Punch and you predict the Slowbro, it's a 2-hit KO.
Yeah, and my favorite set's actually the one that Ivan introduced me to like a year ago. It's like fake out, high jump kick, ice punch, and bullet punch. So when people see ice punch, they don't think you'll have a bullet punch because not having double stab on Medicham means you get walled by like Mega Venusaur, I guess, but who cares about that anymore? And then like you can catch people off guard with a double priority, or if they see the bullet punch, they switch in their Lando thinking it's okay.
Yeah, and definitely Adaman is definitely the nature to go. Because base 100 speed is not like really that important to speed tie with. Whereas, you know, just having more power just chunks teams.
Yeah, because actually I'm not really sure what the extra adamant does in terms of like 2 KOs, but
I mean, even if it's not 2-hit KOs, like, you know, you can
yeah,
you chunk more. You chunk more, your priority can finish it off.
Yeah, it's definitely really useful.
Yeah, like things like Skarmory, it's not even a counter. You switch in on high jump kick, it's 2-hit KO.
Yeah, the best counter to this
one
thing.
I guess one thing to note about Adaman is that max HP, max defense Rotom, the Jolly version, fake out plus high jump kick is a roll to kill, whereas the Adaman fake out high jump kick always kills max Rotom. So I guess that's a good
yeah,
good to note.
For sure. Like Rotom is not a counter.
Yeah, like you need a Pokemon. Like obviously, Mega Sableye is a counter. It's immune to the high jump kick and immune to the psychic stab.
Yeah, and Ice Punch isn't doing too much if it's like max defensive war.
So, but things that don't resist the high jump kick, it's like either outright dies or just 2-hit KO'd.
Yeah, like Lotties are even less of a check to this thing than they are to Zardwai. Because high jump kick bullet punch will kill Latios.
Yeah, and if they just like switch in on the ice punch instead.
Yeah, ice punch just clean out goes. Like most of your time, your way of dealing with physical walls is like Lando T or bulky ground type, and then ice punch like kills it.
Yeah, I guess the best counter is if it doesn't have T punch, it's probably Slowbro.
Yeah, Slowbro is great if it doesn't have T punch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Sableye is the best counter.
Yeah, Sableye is definitely one of the best counters.
That makes Medicham like not that great against Stall, surprisingly, because Sableye is such a problem. But if you get rid of Sableye somehow, your Mega Medicham can run through the rest of the team no problem.
Yeah, like max defensive Quagsire, max defense Skarmory just gets 2-hit KO'd by the jump.
Like honestly, when this thing came out, I didn't think it'd be that great, but it just does so much damage that like.
Yeah, like the thing about not having to boost and just straight up do damage is that it's so much harder for your opponent to play around. Yeah,
like unboosted high jump kick is definitely like the strongest move you can have in the game, minus what, like Bandit Terrakions weaker, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because like huge power, I mean pure power is just 2 times.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I mean I guess like Mega Mawile with Play Rough is stronger.
I don't know, that thing's an Uber.
Yeah, that thing's an Uber's though, so like
yeah,
this thing's crazy.
Yeah, because like whenever you bring it in to something that dies to a high jump kick and you're faster and your opponent doesn't have counters, you just click high jump kick and like either the thing in front of you dies or your opponent, whatever it brings in, dies.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most satisfying mons to use.
And then when you miss the high jump kick, you can cry.
That's why you run Gravity on your team.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Oh yeah, I guess we could talk about like some offensive checks to this thing.
Yeah, so because it only has 299 speed adamant, there's a lot that's faster than it, and if you already faked out, you can't use it again, obviously, like
Yeah.
without switching out.
Mm-hmm.
So things like Timid ZRY become a good check to it, because Bullet Punch isn't doing too much, it's resisted.
Yeah.
Um, Things like Pinsir and Talonflame are great checks because they have flying priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, even Keldeo can like clean Oko this thing.
Tunics. I mean, you have to get a free switch.
Yeah, exactly. There's no offensive check to this thing that like can do it without a free switch.
Yeah, like they can't just come in. I mean, you have to get a good prediction. Like,
Can Pinsir even live like? Well, I guess it lives one high jump kick, and then
Yeah.
you can quick attack.
but like you have to bring, say, bring in your tornadoes on a fake out,
Mm-hmm.
and then threaten it out with the hurricane.
Yeah.
Like you can't. If they predict that, Ice Punch obviously kills. Like, you have to like predict well to get that free initiative. Otherwise,
Yeah. Otherwise, you
something
have to
has
sack
die.
something.
Yeah.
Medicham's really good at just killing things.
Yep. So that wraps up our top 12
Yeah.
threats to look out for. Any last words?
Um, I was thinking about putting like Mega Sableye on this list, but it doesn't like blow teams up like most of
Yeah.
these monsters.
I guess we could talk about some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Sableye. Sableye is like really hard to deal with
Yeah.
if your team's not ready for it. But
It's a bulky magic bouncer, so a lot of times it can switch free into your Landorus and like stop stealth rocks or just EQ no problem.
but it's not like I guess it didn't make the cut because it's not like a something that blows up your team if you let it get one free turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like exactly. It's not just gonna kill him on turn one.
Yeah, it's definitely more of an annoying Pokemon that will slowly like wither your whole team, but it's not something that will just kill your whole team.
I think other good Pokemon in this tier are Lotties. They're definitely amazing. We talked about how they're not that great of checks to a lot of these Pokemon, but they definitely like take a hit and let you switch out, or you can recover if you play the right mind games and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're definitely like more like an emergency check when
Yeah,
you need it.
and they have defog, so they got hazard removal.
Yeah, they're I mean they're versatile. That's why they're good.
Yeah,
But it's not in this list because this list is about threats that you have to watch out for.
yeah. And the only Lotties that set up are like the Mega versions, and those aren't very popular because there's better Megas, like the ones we talked about.
Yeah, and setting up with those are kind of slow as well. And we had before we made the cut, we had like Mega Gardevoir.
Yeah.
It's like basically Mega Diancie in terms of power.
Because it has pixelate boosted hyper voices.
But it didn't make the cut because it's just a tad slower.
Yeah,
And,
the speed hurts it on top of its coverage isn't as great. Like you can run HP Fire or Focus Blast to hit steel types, but and I guess Side Shock hits physical walls. But not having Magic Bounce makes it not as scary. And Diancie, I just find it's more versatile because of the speed as well.
Yeah, and Magic Bounce being a great ability.
Yeah.
And the other one we left out was Mega Heracross, and that thing is just like hits like a truck,
Yeah, it's what, like 180 base attack?
something like that.
Yeah, and like if it Swords Dances, it's probably killing something. But it's not like Medicham, because you like it's not as powerful first of all, and it's slower and doesn't have any priority.
Yeah, so Medicham definitely outclass it because it's Medicham hits just as hard, but it's way faster and has priority to
Yeah.
compensate for its speed, whereas like Heracross just hits really hard, but doesn't have the priority or speed to back it up.
Yeah. I think something Heracross is better though is its bug stat because it has Skill Link. It has 125 base power bug move
Hmm.
with no chance to miss, and that lets it beat things like Heracross or
No,
Slowbro.
no, Pin Missile does miss.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh shit. Never mind. But
Terrible Pokemon. That's why I didn't make the cut.
yeah, yeah. Wait, it's like 95 versus 85 then, right? Because Mega Horn is 85? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more reliable. And
I mean, yeah, you're probably using Pin Missile, basically.
yeah, and it hits like, what was it saying? Slowbro and Sableye.
Hmm.
Where we just talked about how Medicham has problems with those.
Yeah, and you can also get like a substitute up
Mhm.
on Heracross, and that'll like ease your prediction and just straight up kill something.
Yeah, on top of Bullet Seed lets you hit like, let's say Quagsire if you want to beat Stall with it.
Hmm.
Like, sub Heracross actually does really well against Stall. The only problem is Skarmory, but your close combat still do a lot.
Yeah, definitely need to weaken the Skarmory, and then Heracross can just like 6-0 stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a extended bonus.
Bonus feature.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we'll see you guys next time then.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.